It's always lovely to come here, but coming here this morning was a bit of a challenge. It was really a bit of a challenge. I had to maneuver my way, to North Durban. I had to take some shortcuts, avoiding the M13. I caught up with the M13 somewhere, just like that. So I hope I can be able to return home before 5 o'clock today. Why don't we take some moments just to greet one another, especially people you haven't greeted, for a while. If you can walk around, I know you're Presbyterians, but walk around, kiss somebody and tell them they look much younger than the last time you saw them. Why don't we do that? Stand, walk around, greet somebody. At least 3 people, at least 3 people. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, sir. All right, and you may be seated. Hi, Neil. How's it? You well? Good. Yeah, you look younger, I know. Yeah, good. Hi, Tim. How are you doing? All right. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I'm sure you should be worried. The Sharks are playing very well, eh? Yeah, I can't wait to. Okay. All right. Unless the Blues win. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they don't talk about rugby when the Blues somewhere there. Okay. Good. Thank you. Well, it's really a privilege once again not to be with you. You great friends. Michelle is off to Joburg, attending a meeting. Starts with PE and then off to Joburg, attending a meeting for the denomination. So that's why I'm standing here. But also, because I love coming to North Durban. I just want to encourage you from the words that we have read this morning. And I just pray that you'll be encouraged and begin to look at things differently. Why I like, attending church services like this? I always say, you can as well tune into the TV, listen to some TBN or what do they call them this time, whatever, broadcasting on a church service or a sermon. It can be done. But there is a reason why God calls us to meet together in a place like this one. Because something happens when we meet together. God has promised that where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst. And He stands by that promise. I don't know how you feel. I don't want to assume this. For me, when I come to a service like this, something happens to me. It could be through a song that has been sung or a prayer that has been given, or something that the preacher has just said. And when I go home charged and looking at life from a different perspective. So whatever it is, something happens in a service. I've heard people coming. I came here feeling very heavy. I came here feeling very low, feeling very discouraged. Life was closing on me, but I leave with something. So it has nothing to do with the preacher. It has nothing to do with whatever. It has to do with God, who has promised to meet His people. So that is my prayer for you. Come every time to worship God, expecting from God. It may not come from the pulpit. It may come from a song. It may come from a prayer. It may come from a greeting, outside, whatever. Just allow God's Spirit, to minister, to you. So I hope this moment that God will minister to you and encourage you, where you are. We've read from Genesis chapter 13, verse 1 to 18, and in Hebrews chapter 12. Those scriptures, I want to tie them together, as we go into this. So I have a brief moment, with you. It's a very beautiful story. Actually, it's a story about Abraham, who became Abraham, later on. That story, continues. Abraham and Lot. Something is happening between these two. If you go back, before Genesis chapter 12, you read about, Abraham adopting, Lot, his nephew, and putting him under his wings and mentoring him and helping him. But, Lot had his own characteristics. He had his own attitude. He has his own personality. And it shows up. The only unfortunate thing is the way, Lot, ends up. It doesn't end up very well because of certain things that, he did in his life. I think you've read the story about Sodom and Gomorrah, where, God visited that place and destroyed it, saved, Lot and his children. So it didn't end up very, very good. So this is the story that I want to pick up, from here and say, what are we learning, from this story? I think I have a picture of Abraham and Lot. Okay? Yeah, we leave it there. It's a beautiful picture. This is a time that, when God had spoken to Abraham and said, I'll bless you, I'll multiply you. God started doing that. God started fulfilling his promises in Abraham's life. But, he had this nephew of his, Lot, who was also being blessed. And when they reached, a place where they were living, the land or the space became too small for their animals. So there was some quarreling, among the workers. And this got, to Abraham. Actually, it's Abraham coming to Lot, say, you know what? We can't live like this. We can't continue. We are very close, relatives here. If the quarreling continues, it will eventually, affect us. I want you to see the wisdom of Abraham right from the beginning. He's stopping what is happening and saying, wait a minute, let's stop this. Let's find a solution. If I can just pause here. Sometimes we wait too long before we arrest, a problem. Sometimes we wait too long, or sometimes we expect another person to take the first step. When God has been speaking to us, in whatever situation, it could be a marital relationship, it could be a relationship, a distant relationship, whatever it is, God has been nudging you by His Spirit or through His Spirit, I say, take a step, make sure that, you nip, this thing, in the bud. And you've been sitting on that. You've been sitting on that. Abraham is taking the first step. He's saying this can continue. Because if it continues, it will reach a time where you and me will not talk like this. So we better address this. So he is taking that step. And again, unlike, the Orthodox, traditional, Jewish people, it's supposed to be a nephew coming to the uncle and say, you know what, uncle, there is trouble here. That's a sign of respect. But it is the uncle here taking the step and saying, you know what, come here, let's do something. But no, he goes further. What he does here is amazing. Abraham, as an uncle in that traditional setting, has all the rights to say, you know what, you move out of here, you leave me here, I'm going to choose no first. But you know what he does? He says, you choose first. You choose first, I leave it to you. Choose whatever you choose. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Really, really amazing. Sometimes, we feel entitled to certain things, and we hold on to those things, and those things, enslave us. That, we cannot look at life in a wider perspective. Abraham is not enslaved by whatever he has. He's saying, make a choice, and whatever you choose, I'll choose, the other way. So I am talking about, two important things here. I think we'll leave it on that one. What is distinguishing Abraham from Lot? The first point here is, choices. The way Abraham makes choices is a distinction factor, between him and Lot. Lot's choices are weird. If you follow him, the way he chooses, as he looks, actually, I think, just reading between the lines, he was waiting for that moment for Abraham to say, make a choice. And then he looks and is taken by the moment, is taken by the looks, He looks and he makes a choice. And his choice is determined by what he's seeing. I see a beautiful land there. He is not looking beyond the moment. He is choosing for what he's seeing now. He's making his decision based on that. Forgetting that if he goes further into that space was very closer to two cities which were horrible, which were going to affect, his family setting, which were going to affect, his other choices and his other future, decisions. Because Sodom and Gomorrah, were not good cities. There was a lot happening there. And that was the last place a person could be. Yes, it was beautiful land, beautiful things, whatever. But behind that beauty, there were a lot of things. Lot was always caught up in present moments. And let me just, advise us here. We need, especially, us who are family people, let us be careful when we make choices. Let us be careful when we make decisions. It should not be in the present moment. It should not be when the emotions are high. I've heard a lot of people regretting having made some choices, having made some decisions when they were high in emotions. Emotionally wounded, and you want to make a decision. Sometimes it's good to take a breath. And sometimes it's good to run a comrade, all right? So that you can breathe it out, all right? Just take it out. And after the comrade, then your mind, is cleaned up. Lot was incapable of seeing the consequences of his actions. And we see the end of his life is not good because of those choices. Lot did not develop a sense of purpose. He was greedy. He was driven by greediness. He was very greedy. And then Lot drifted through life. It is a tragedy, friends, to drift through life. Especially for those who are young. And I can see a number of young people here. Be aware. Do not drift through life. Make sure that you make those important stops and ask yourself, where am I going? Where am I coming from? Why am I here? What am I doing? Very important. Abraham was very careful in his choices. But the question is, but why? Because there was something driving Abraham in all the choices that he makes. And this is the distinction factor, the second one. Okay? Vision. Abraham was a man of vision. Before Abraham set out on a mission to do what God had called him to do, he was very clear on the vision that God gave him. When you read, in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 8, you read how God is coming, to Abraham, how God is speaking to Abraham about, all this vision that is there, for him. And that became a determining factor in whatever Abraham was doing. Everywhere he went. Actually, I like his stopping. If you follow Abraham, wherever he went, he stopped. He stopped at Bethel, he built an altar, and he worshipped the Lord. He stopped at this place, he built an altar, and he worshipped the Lord. He stopped at this, he built it, and he worshipped the Lord. He was a vision-driven person. Whatever Abraham did thereafter was determined by this vision from God. I'm taking you from here to there. I'm taking you from here to there. I'm doing this in your life. And therefore, whatever you do, remember this. Even when he was encountered, or when he encountered challenges in his life, when he encountered, challenges between himself and Lot and the workers, Abraham was guided by this vision. He didn't just rush, in making decisions. With that vision in mind, he was never too insecure to ask Lot for the first choice in deciding where he should settle. Insecurity comes when you have nothing driving you. Insecurity in life comes when there is nothing driving you. When there's nothing to look up to. When there's no bigger thing that you live for. That's when insecurity comes. We're living at a time when even in the country, so many people are insecure. And you wonder, you are such a powerful person in a powerful office. Why are you such an insecure person? And insecure people are very dangerous. Insecure people are very dangerous. Because they do everything possible to secure themselves. And unfortunately, on the expense of other people. This is what we're living with in the country. It goes right to the top. When you have the top person as a very insecure person, you move across the borders. When you go to Zimbabwe, you go to the top. When you have the top person as an insecure person, there's disaster in the nation. There's disaster in the nation. I always ask myself, I watch, what is happening in Parliament of late. So many insecure people there. So many insecure people. I would like to take them for therapy, Natalie. Really. I'll not run out of the job, the whole day, the whole year. Just take them for therapy. If you are connected to Parliament, I put up my hand. I'll do it pro bono just for therapy. Insecure people cause a lot of damage in other people, unfortunately. It's not only to them. If you are facing some insecurity in your life, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Because all of us, in one or the other, will be insecure in one or the other. But we need to settle that. We need to settle that. Don't postpone it. Don't take time. I always say, do not postpone the inevitable. Deal with it. If something is causing some insecurity in you, begin to address it or seek help. Because that may begin to affect, people around you, may begin to affect even those that you love. You may not mean it, but because you are being driven by that insecurity, it begins to affect, the relationships that you have invested in for so many years. With that vision in mind, Abraham was never insecure to ask Lot to take the first choice. Never. Take a first choice. If you go to the right, I go to the left. If you go to the left, I go to the right. Lot was guided by what he saw at the moment without realizing the implication of those kind of decisions. He built near those two cities, and that had a lot of implication on his family setting. So, what are we saying here? We are saying there are choices that Abraham was making, and that distinguishes him, from Lot. But also there is a vision. But then you ask me, Amon, what exactly do you mean by vision? What is vision? And I know, people in the corporate business here, they'll give you a full analysis, of what a vision, is. I like this picture. I think I have it here. There you are. Future vision. Future Avenue and Vision Street. All right? It's something pointing to the future. Because, every time we talk about vision, definitely we're talking about the future. We're talking about what we see. But there's something that I want to share with you very, very briefly. Actually, no, I think I have another. Yeah, there you are. For me, vision speaks to a number of things. Vision speaks to a future picture. It speaks to purpose in life. What I call the why of life. The bigger picture, the there of life. So in other words, vision answers the question, why am I here? Vision answers the question, I'm not here by accident. There is a purpose. There is a bigger picture. There is a bigger reason why I'm here. But I'm not just here. Vision speaks to the fact that there is the there in my life. Because without the there, the here can be very discouraging. Are you following me? Because some of us have settled with the here. Some of us have defined our lives with the here, with the moment, with what is happening. Let me encourage you this morning. You may be here feeling very discouraged, feeling very low, feeling like, life is closing on you. And you are beginning to define your life and your future with what is happening here. Let me encourage you, there is a there in life. There is a there in life. Vision helps us to move from here to there. Vision helps us to ask questions, what should I be doing to move from here to there? What should I be doing to unlock myself where I feel stuck in life here to move to there? This is why, we are Christians. When we talk about Christians, it's vision. It's a vision that one day we'll be with God. That one day, He will reveal Himself. One day, there will be a new life. Not only this life that we're saying. So that's why, we don't live just for now. We live for the better future. And the better future, because of the vision we have of the better future, it begins to affect what I do now. People with vision don't just settle here. They allow the there to influence the here. People with vision, they allow what they see, what they perceive, that bigger picture, the big reason why I exist, to begin to affect my relationship now. To begin to affect my investment in life now. To begin to affect my choices now. To begin to affect my decisions now. That's why it's important to have there in mind. You may not yet be there, but you know what? We are on the way. So let me encourage, some of you, are hard on others. You want them to appear. They're not yet there. Otherwise, we'd be all in heaven. So forgive me, I'm not yet there. I'm work in progress. So what you see in me, it's work in progress. I'm going to be there one day. So you may want me to look like there. No, I'm not yet an angel. One day I'll be flying. All right. I'll have wings. But we're going there. And let me remind you, you are also going with me there. So don't feel, superior. Don't feel, important, whatever. Don't look down on me. Don't talk down on me. Don't break me. All right. Give me a chance because I'm going there also. We are sojourners. I think you've heard those words in the scriptures. We are pilgrims. People who are moving, there. So what am I saying? Vision is very important, friend. What determined, Abraham's life was that vision, that big picture. In other words, he was not carried away by the moments of life. There may be some of you are feeling very discouraged because of what is happening in your family, what's happening in the nation, economically, those who are in business, it's not looking nice. And it can be very discouraging. It can be frightening. Some of us are busy packing bags. We are on the flight, to run away from the here. MH370 has disappeared. Where are you going? Where are you going? Some of us, we just want to disappear in the thin air. No. We don't want to be picked by pieces, on the shore of Mozambique. Somewhere there a piece, somewhere there a piece. Where are you running to? There is a purpose. There is a bigger picture. All right. Don't feel guilty. Some of you, have already packed bags. What I'm asking you, before you board, where are you going? Because, the Lord may say, you are the purpose here. You haven't finished here. So you want to be there. You'll be sent back. I've heard people have been sent back because all of a sudden they appear there. And God says, no, go back. This is too early. And some of us may appear there where, the heavens says, what? Let's just have you here. But you know what? You had some other 30 years to live. Don't shortcut here because it is so discouraging. Don't shortcut here because it's tough. Don't shortcut, the effort you are making to build your relationship, to build your life, to build your business, because, it's so heavy. It's so Don't shortcut there. Learn some lessons because it's going to take a process. One day you'll be there. That's vision, friends. That's vision. That was what was driving, Abraham in his life. The vision of what is possible. Okay, I think I had a slide there that I want. Yeah, when the why is clear, the how is much easier. I like that phrase. When the why of something is clear, when the purpose of something is clear, when you know where you are going, when you know what you live for, when you know who you are, the how as a process is very easy. But you know what we do in life? We spend so much time on the how. We want to break ourselves to make meaning, out of the process. Process without purpose is dead. Process without a foundation is dead. It's very discouraging. I see this, in businesses, Dean will tell you, the others will tell you, in business. When you dwell on the how, when you sort of lock yourself into the structure, whatever, you get discouraged. You run out of strength. You run out of steam. But when you define the why are you doing this? Why are you in there? Why are you there? the process becomes very, very easy. Okay, I'm coming towards the end, friends. I hope that, you are getting encouraged here. So this can be sort of cascaded right to your family. What's the vision of your family? What's your vision? Why are you here? Why are you a husband? Why are you a wife? Why are you a spouse? Why are you a father? When we ask those questions, friends, it begins to define our purpose. Sometimes we are not defined on those questions. A friend of mine said, when the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. When you do not know the purpose of something, abuse is inevitable. Even your life, if you don't know the purpose of your life, if you do not have answers to the why question in your life, you begin to abuse your own life. You begin to abuse your own time. You begin to abuse your own relationship. So it's very important to be driven not by vision. I'm investing a lot of time in talking about this in vision because I've realized that so many of us have been defined by business, have been defined by organization structure, have been defined by big firm. The question is, what is your personal vision? Have you sat down and put your own vision statement, your own mission statement? I deal with executives in business, and most of the times we default towards our company, we default towards our organization. There's no personal vision. Friend, take time. Take time to define your vision. Take time to define your purpose. Because when you do that, everything else begins to be possible. Because I ask you, if I were to take you, what you've defined yourself as your vision, if I were to take that away from you, what do I remain with? Who do I remain with? It's scary. It's scary. This is why you find that some people cling to power for many years, even when they're supposed to stay there. Because they know if we take out the power, what do we remain with? Thin air. Nothing. So let me clean this, because this is what defines me. Let me use this. Even if it means abusing others, I'll use this, because this is my security. But people who have defined their personal vision, remove whatever you want to remove from me, I still remain me. We need to reach that point. I still remain me. You can take away that portfolio, you can take away that title, you can take away that power, you can take away that influence. At the end of the day, you still find me. That, friend, should be our goal. And it takes a process. It takes a deliberate process to reach a point where, and that's where, for me, that's where your security is. Because when you define that, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you meet with. It doesn't matter. You're not insecure. You are secure within yourself. And by the grace of God. This is what happened with Abraham. So I want you to encourage you, to read, the scriptures in Genesis and just understand this. And in closing, the power of vision. What's the power of vision? The power of vision is that it helps us stay focused on what matters. When you have a definition of the why, you have answered who you are, why are you here, where are you going, it helps you to stay focused on what matters. If you don't have that, you are taken by everything, like Lot was taken by everything. It also helps us to understand the bigger picture. That there may be small things happening, small things that are irritating us, some of us, in a relationship, in a family, in whatever. They are irritating us. But if you have a bigger picture, you just say it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time before we have a full meaning to this. It also helps us, the power of vision helps us to make the right choices. It helps us keep going despite challenges, because challenges will be there. Even if you have defined yourself, it doesn't mean that, no, you'll not be challenged. But when you are challenged, you know you have a strong platform. You have a strong foundation in your life. It helps us to live for a greater cause in life. When you have vision in life, you live for a bigger cause. You live for a greater cause in life. If you are not self-centered, you give your life because you know there is something bigger than your life. Like a friend of mine said, there are some other worlds to sing in. It's not only here. There are some other words to sing in. When the power of vision helps us to understand who we are and why we do what we do. This is what Jesus did in Hebrews. It tells us, because of the joy that was set before him, which I interpret vision. Because of that vision, when he saw you and me coming to him, coming to know his Father, he endured the cross to the end. He died. He gave himself. Why? Because there was a vision. That cross, he saw beyond the cross. He saw beyond the suffering. Why do we endure as parents, with young children, waking them up in the morning, moving, Yesterday, okay, for your information, let me encourage. If you feel discouraged as a parent, yesterday, I started my day at 7:15. Victor woke me up at 5:30 because he was playing rugby. Victor is 8 years old, getting into 9. These boys, they get on our nerves. I tell you, wherever they come from. He wakes me up before 5 because he wants to play. I said, no. Rugby, it's at 7:30, not 5 o'clock. Because he's anxious. So I wake up as a gracious father. Tiba, gracious mother, we wake up. So we're wide awake already, before 5. You can't close your eyes when you're awake. That's it. So 7:15, go to rugby. So we do the rugby thing there. 11 o'clock, his brother, Eddie, who is at Marisbeck, was playing at Westview. 11 o'clock. So we watch him 11 o'clock. He says, no. The first team is playing only 3:30. So if you thought I had a good day yesterday, because you might be saying, this preacher, he has in the nice time. If you thought I had a good day, I only reach home, 6 o'clock. My day has been, I felt like I was playing rugby myself, tired, finished. May God bless us. May God bless us that as we live in this, sometimes we beat ourselves so hard. We beat ourselves so hard. There is life beyond the here. Be encouraged. God bless you. Amen.